Hello, I am making a video. I'm going to try and do one every day that I drive home from work because it's a good way to kind of document my day and what I've learned as a teacher in the school system and as a counselor working with families and educators. So this is number one for me. First, I guess my first one is going to be on bullying and what bullying is and what it's not. And a lot of times I get a call from parents saying my child's being bullied, or a student uses the term bullying. And bullying is a very strong term, and there are certain cases, although it is rare, that bullying exists. And there are three hallmarks to bullying. One is there's a power imbalance between the student and the aggressor. Meaning that maybe there's an age difference, or maybe the victim has a certain disability or disadvantage, or it could even be social clout. So maybe the aggressor has a certain amount of social clout that the victim does not. That's number one. Number two is it happens over time. And if it happens over time, this sets it apart from a conflict. A conflict is something that is normal in day-to-day lives of children. We have conflict with friends, we have conflict with family members, and we work through it, and we use our language skills and our reflective listening, and it is a part of life. It's a necessary skill for adulthood. It's a necessary skill for relationships. So we certainly want to encourage our children to not label conflict as bullying, because that is not the appropriate use of the term. The third hallmark of bullying is it causes emotional distress. And emotional distress is not a situational stress. It actually starts to impact the quality of life and the day-to-day of the child. You might notice things like a lack of interest in preferred activities, a disengagement from school, difficulty with schoolwork, concentration. You know your child is under duress, and it's happening consistently over time. It's not a situation where your child comes home and is upset and shares that with you. So these are the three hallmarks of bullying, and this is all found in Elizabeth Englander's research on the Bridgewater State MARC program, which you can read about, the Massachusetts Aggression Reduction Center. And I just think it's really important for parents and educators to know the distinction between bullying and conflict. Because sometimes when we label conflict as bullying, we're doing a couple things. We're giving an unfair label to a child who doesn't deserve it. We might be putting into motion consequences that aren't fair, and we're also not modeling for our children that conflict is healthy and discomfort is healthy. It makes us grow. And if there's not a power imbalance, this is definitely a conflict. If it's not causing emotional distress, it's a conflict. I hear a lot of students say, well, my parent said just stay away from him or her, just ignore him or her, distance themselves. This can be tricky because it is also a relational aggression tactic that a lot of, especially middle school girls use, but girls and boys alike can use it, where it isolates a friend or a quote person they're in the conflict with. And I just want to encourage parents not to encourage isolation or encourage avoidance, but encourage either conflict resolution, going right to the source and having that difficult conversation and modeling how that happens, and or going to your guidance counselor or a counselor that can support that mediation process. If you suspect that your child is actually being bullied, it's happening over time, there's a power imbalance, and is causing significant emotional distress, start documenting. Start taking notes, logging the behaviors and the incidents, and then present it to your school administrator if it's happening in school, or present it to the parent of the quote aggressor. These are proper ways to handle these issues. And I guess lastly, I just want to say, certainly as a parent, you may be flooded with emotions. We're protective. It's in our nature, it's in our DNA to protect our children. Do not go to social media and blast a child. Do not go to confront the child directly, because you are an adult and there is a power imbalance there. You have to be patient with children as they're learning. You have to model good skills. You certainly don't want to model relational aggression. So these are just a few pieces of advice that I have. And we are a wonderful community, and we have amazing children and an amazing school system. And if we work together, we can raise emotionally healthy and happy kids. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.